Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the CKC channel. I'm your host, FM Calvin Klaasen, and welcome to a very special edition, special introductory show to a brand new special chess variant full of flames. And I've brought two special guys over here with us. Welcome, Lourenzo. Welcome, Craig.
Thanks, Calvin. Hello. I'm glad to be on the show.
Yes, great to have you guys here. So let me just tell you guys a bit more to the viewers out here. So Lourenzo played chess for many years. A huge chess enthusiast. He's the founder of MRL Chess Club. Of course, he played for Mitchell's Plain Chess Club as well. And he has also hosted numerous Fisher Random and MRL Paradigm tournaments. I remember Henry Steele saying a couple of weeks back on the show, on this channel that he said that you'd play in any event that Lourenzo organizes. So that says already a lot. And of course, he's got three daughters who actually did exceptional in chess thus far. All of them receiving SA colors and so forth. So welcome, Lourenzo and Craig Willenberg. So Craig is the son-in-law of Lourenzo. So he married Lauren, and of course he is part of Steiner's Chess Club. We've had a lot of Steiner's guys on the show. So welcome, Craig. And then he's a strong chess player, one of the top players in the country, and of course a top coach. And he is the co-founder of the Paradigm Chess30, what we are going to see tonight. And he is the winner of the first social celebration of Paradigm Chess30 that was actually played recently. So so that's Lourenzo van Niekerk and Craig Willenberg. Welcome, guys, and of course to the viewers out there, welcome. Please don't forget to press the follow button if you are new to the channel. If you can't press the follow button, then just go back to the homepage of Twitch and sign up. It's for free, it's easy, it's quick, and then come back to the channel and press the follow button, and then you can actually ask these guys questions about this exciting new game live. So okay, so can I start with you, Lourenzo? Can you tell us about this new game, this Paradigm Chess30? Some people have seen it on Facebook, some people have heard about it. What is it about? Where does it originate from? Tell us, what is this all about?
Thanks, Calvin. Yes, Paradigm Chess30. We actually, we started in April, me and Craig, brainstorming, looking at different ideas. But before I'm going to delve in it, I will first go back to the history, because the history plays a very important part with the creation of Paradigm Chess30. And I'm going to look at, like you've mentioned before, we've been having lots of tournaments on MRL Chess Paradigm. I know it might sound a bit confusing, Paradigm Chess30, MRL Chess Paradigm, but it actually enhances, what it does, it just enhances the MRL chess paradigm. So that is where Paradigm Chess30 comes from. So MRL chess paradigm started off in 2011, and we had an annual event for 6 years in succession. And for that tournament, we invited, the criteria was set. I was an organizer for that tournament, and I set it as such. So that I don't have to play. I never qualified for that tournament. It was always 2,000 plus rated players that could qualify. So I could never qualify. So I just enjoyed watching guys fighting it out, battling it out. But so I will just, on that event, for instance, 2011, I just want to quickly mention, I am, David Gluckman was the first winner of that event. And then after that was I am Henry Steele, Muhammad Henry Steele. And then 2013 was I am Watukubees. 14 was I am Henry Steele again. And 15 and 16, 2015 and 16 was I am Watukubees again. In that event, I actually joked about it, and I said that is a I am's trophy. Yes, and nobody could prove me wrong. That was in the beginning.
It sounds like a very tough field.
When you played about, I think, 3 or 4 of that events.
Yeah, I definitely participated in a few, yes. Very exciting stuff, interesting stuff, yes. So always a pleasure to play with.
Yes, and Craig played about 5 of that events as well. He missed the first one. So that is where we are. But with regards to the concept, not to digress too much, the concept itself is actually a combination of Fisher random chess and Xianqi.
Okay.
I know my pronunciation might not be good. Xianqi.
Yes.
That is Chinese chess. So that
Aha.
is basically what it is. So this MRL chess paradigm consisted of 8 starting positions. So it was a variant, a unique variant of Fisher random chess,
Okay.
where you had the king at its original square and the rooks at its original square with the queen's knight as well on b1. So that was the original position.
Yes.
A reason for that was to ensure that we had equal shuffling between dark square and light square bishops. And by doing that, 8 unique positions were generated, which consisted of normal chess, of course, and 7 different type of positions of Fisher random. So that is the one aspect. And the other one was the dynamic rules of Chinese chess.
Okay.
That was also incorporated, and that was a very it was just looking at the rules, and that rules was actually like anti-draw rules.
All right.
Basically, what we're saying is that stalemate is a win. I remember the first time I introduced it in 2011 at Primi Piatti
Yes.
at Canal Walk. The guys were looking at me like, what is this?
Yes.
Stalemate is a win. That is Chinese chess. And also no repetition, no perpetual check. So I also remember that was also one thing that wasn't very easy to grasp.
So you're basically taking a lot of guys out of their comfort zone. No draws, no quick draws, no
Yes,
repetitions. So it has to be flames on the board. There's no easy games. Okay, that sounds
yes.
good.
So that was that one. So no draws basically, and yeah, and the guy that started the repetition or perpetual has to break it as well.
So
So yeah,
so sorry, Lorenzo. Can I ask you something? I'm just scared you're gonna continue from this topic. I actually wanted to ask you. So you're talking about Chinese chess and this whole getting the game to be sharper, the MRL paradigm. So I'm thinking about the Asian grandmasters, and I've heard already in the past a lot of these chess players from China and from Asia. They start off by playing Chinese chess, and then they go over to normal chess. And people have said that. I mean, if you look at the styles of a lot of these top grandmasters from Asia, from China, if you look at Wang Yu, Wang Hao, maybe Wei Yi, these youngsters, they're super aggressive, and a lot of people say it is owed to starting off with this Chinese chess, which sharpens you, and it just changes your, or it fixes your demeanor in a certain way. And when you come to chess, then you're a lot more like that. So is that the same with this paradigm that you're bringing in? Similar stuff, or what?
yes. I was actually, Calvin. I was actually inspired at the time. It was 2005.
Yeah.
There was an article by Professor Lee, a chess-based article. You can Google it,
All
where
right.
he actually made that statement saying that Chinese chess players excel in normal chess because they start playing Chinese chess, Xianqi, at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very curious at the time, 2005. Reason for that is because of my daughters. They were about 10, 11 years old.
Yes.
And I started Googling it, and I learned the game, and I actually taught them the game as well. One thing that was interesting is that because we didn't have a chessboard, a Chinese chess set,
Yeah.
I asked my father-in-law, my late father-in-law, and he actually made a board for us because you don't play on the squares, you play on nodes, which is a 10 by 9
Yes.
board. And we use the advisors. There was 2 advisors next to the queen with limited power. And then there were some other pieces there. One of the distinct pieces of Chinese chess was the cannons, which can leap. It moves like a rook, but it can leap. So it was a very powerful piece. But the problem with it is a lot of the pieces also was limited. It couldn't cross the river. So it was very realistic.
Yeah.
The king couldn't move, leave the palace, but it had a latent power. So there was a lot of things with regards to that. And what made Chinese chess so difficult was you couldn't defend pieces so easily.
Yes.
So you have to go for the king. That was the only way you could defend. So that is an uncompromising style that he was probably referring to.
Yes.
So that is why that was one of the things that I look at, and it was quite interesting, but not close to chess, our beloved game, because in chess you have the strategical aspect. It's not one-dimensional, and that is what makes chess so beautiful.
Yeah.
So yes, and
Okay.
also I didn't mention about the knight movement, of course, the Shanzhous.
Yeah.
But Craig will also go into more detail on that one when he gives some detail on the practical aspects of the game. So
Okay.
yes, just in a nutshell. So we looked at that was a foundation. Fischer Random also inspired by what Fischer did, also uncompromising style, playing from the start without preparation. So that is also what was very, very, very nice about it. So that was MRL's paradigm. So me and Craig, we did some research. We look at other variants. And one thing that was interesting was also Capablanca chess. We look at that variant as well. Because remember, Capablanca mentioned about 100 years ago that chess is played out. And we needed to introduce 2 extra pieces and a bigger board. But everybody was laughing at him at the time. Obviously, he was wrong. He was 100 years ahead of his time.
Yes.
And we're still playing chess until today. So, but yes, that was an interesting concept there, where he wasn't the originator actually from of that variant. It was actually Pedro Carrera in the 17th century. He actually started off this extra pieces, introducing this extra pieces, which is a chancellor and the archbishop. The archbishop was a combination of the king and the knight movement.
Knight and the bishop.
The knight and the bishop movement. And the rook and the knight movement was the chancellor. So that was what we had. Yes. So that was an interesting concept, but you will see how it actually connect with what we were doing. So, and then also Yasser Saravan in 2007, he and Bruce Harper, they looked at the Capablanca chess concept, but he didn't like the 10x8 checkered board. So he said he want to keep the 8x8 board. So how could he do it? He was joking. There were some videos about Yasser. He's saying, okay, let's introduce the 2 extra pieces by playing H2, H3, A2, A3, and put the chancellor and the archbishop in there. So that was the way he said, but obviously it looks very odd doing that.
Sounds messy. Yeah, a lot of pieces.
Yes. So then he and Harper, they were looking at it. How can they do it? And he came up with the idea of it's almost similar to Sogi. Whenever one of the pieces at the back rank vacate, you have the choice of putting that chancellor, which is a rook and knight combination, and the archbishop, the bishop and the knight combination on that vacant square. So that was some of the concepts that they were playing with. So there's a reason why I'm telling you all of this, because this all form part of the inspiration of what we've been doing. So, and then we were looking at the chess evolution, and that is where I'm going to hand over to my son-in-law, Craig.
All right. Thanks, Lourenzo. Just before Craig starts, we've had some a question here in the chat box. Sorry. Yeah, guys, just a question here. Ruan, tonight's show is about Paradigm Chess30. It's a new variant. So we've got the 2 founders, Lourenzo and Craig, here to explain to us what it's all about. Lourenzo gave us a bit of an intro there of the origin of it. Craig is going to explain to us a bit more right now, more details. But yeah, that's what tonight's show is about. We are even going to see a bit of playing a bit later, guys. We are going to see the Dragon Bishops move. So stay tuned. And then a question here from Mulls 2010. You guys can decide who want to answer this one. Okay, the game is pretty new, but he is asking, do you think one should introduce Chinese? Oh, okay, he's talking about Chinese chess, not Paradigm, or maybe he's going towards that direction. But he's asking, do you think one should introduce Chinese chess to juniors?
Yes, I think it is good from the aspect where it's very tactical, it's very attacking, and yes, you can do that. I mean, my kids benefit to some extent, So we didn't play it continuously for years, but yes,
Oh,
it was very interesting. But like I said to you, very difficult. Pawns can't defend each other.
yes.
And yes, there's some complex movement of pieces. And the more complex a game, it makes chess more easier at the end of the day. If you practice something
Yes.
that's more complex, so it definitely help you with the tactical ability.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Although there's some different piece movements, but yes, it definitely help.
All right. All right. Thanks, Lorenzo. So, yeah, okay. What I wanted to also mention, guys, is like Mills in the chat box, please feel free to ask questions. Throw in your questions. It's first come, first serve, guys. Last night we had GM Kenny Solomon on the show, and there were maybe one or two questions missed. So if you want to ask questions, I know we're going to get more details now from both of these guys, but throw in your questions in the chat box. We're going to make some time just before we start with the Blitz games to ask them questions from the viewers. So throw your questions in the chat box, guys. Okay, so Craig, what's happening? Can you tell us a bit more? So we know the origin slightly. Can you explain to us more? We want to hear more.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. So what I'm going to tell you guys about is more the origin of chess. I know my dad-in-law has given you a lot about Chinese chess and the benefits thereof. But what I'm going to do, which is very interesting, when I did the research myself, looking back, where does chess come from? Where does it originate? And it actually comes from a game called Chaturanga,
Okay.
way back in the 6th century, and that later evolved into a game called Shatranj,
Okay.
which is the pieces as we know it, exactly the same, packed as we have it now. Just the bishop was called the elephant back then, and the pieces had different movements also in Shatranj.
Okay.
Basically, the queen was not the strongest piece. The queen could only move one square diagonally at a time.
Okay.
The bishop, which was also called the elephant, could leap over pawns, but also only two squares at a time. There was no castling allowed, and pawns could only move one square at a time, which obviously eliminated en passant as we know it.
Mm-hmm.
So the range of movement was kind of limited, and Shatranj became stale after a few centuries,
Okay.
and that's where chess evolved into in around about 15th century. That's where chess took over, and obviously then the Morphy era, the romantic chess, the tactical side
Yeah.
came about. And so yes, and now we're playing chess like we are today. All the rules hasn't changed since then.
Yeah.
And yes, obviously now the reason for our concept paradigm Chess30 is nowadays with all the draws happening at top level, we trying to bring back, like you said, the flame in the game.
Yeah.
That's why we've added this new dynamic of
Okay.
adding in a new dragon bishop, as we might call it. I will elaborate a little bit further in a second.
Okay.
But yes, we brainstormed and we went back and forth, looking at Capablanca's pieces, the Chancellor, the Archbishop. We looked at the history of the 10 by 8 board. We looked at Chinese chess, and we eventually we discovered that the bishop on our normal chessboard uh, causes a lot of draws in specific positions, such
Okay.
as valid bishops, as we know it, rook and bishop versus rook.
Yeah.
You can even, like in some positions, create fortresses with the bishop. Whereas the knight is more of a more of an agile piece. They say knight endings is similar to pawn endings, which can create victories. So yeah, we realize that the bishop causes lots of drawing positions, and that's why we enhance the bishop itself.
Okay.
In our trial games, we actually looked at a piece of Capablanca, which was the archbishop. Now the archbishop had the powers of the bishop and the knight.
Okay.
So we looked at that piece and we thought, okay, what we're gonna do? We played a normal chess game, but we made the bishop. We changed it into an archbishop. So now the bishop can move as a knight and a bishop. So obviously the power of the bishop had increased dramatically because he's got now extra powers of the knight as well.
Yes.
And we were having a lot of fun.
Almost sounds like that bishop doubled in power.
Correct. Roughly about 5.5, 6,
7 with the archbishop.
Yeah, the archbishop, yes, could have been a little more.
Yeah.
So yeah, we really enjoyed those games that we played because obviously lots more tactical abilities, and we are both tactical players,
Yes.
so we loved it, and we thought this was it.
Okay.
This is it. We need to show it to the everybody out there, but we really were objective about what we were doing and thought, but not all players play like us. Different players have different styles. Not everybody's as tactical, and so we thought, no, maybe this, because our games lasted 15 moves, sometimes 20 moves.
Oh, 15 moves. Wow.
Yeah, that was the average, about 15 moves.
Okay.
And it didn't seem real. It didn't seem like it would take. Obviously there were no draws, which is the main aim of Paradigm Chess30.
Okay.
Then we looked a little further, and we looked at Chinese chess, and there is actually a piece also in Chinese chess called the Zhangyi horse.
Okay.
It moves very similar to the knight, but it doesn't jump over pieces. So I'm going to give you a demonstration in a bit.
Okay.
So before we look at the demonstrations, I want to tell you that we took the bishop and we added the powers of the Zhangyi horse to it, which is very similar to the knight, but I just want to show you guys a diagram.
Okay.
Okay, so can we? I just want to open up the movement.
Okay, so the movement diagram.
The movement of the yes.
All right, let's
check
this out.
The combination of the bishop and the Zhangyi horse from Chinese chess.
Yeah, we've got it open. Yeah.
Yes, we've gave birth to the dragon bishop, and the dragon bishop moves forward and diagonally. Basically, if there's something in the dragon's way going in that certain direction, he cannot move. Like if you look at the dragon on G1, the G2 square is vacant. That's why he can move to H3 and to F3 over there.
Okay. And what about a dragon bishop on D1? Can he get out?
Well, the pawn on D2 blocks him from moving like the horse. Okay. So you cannot jump like a normal knight to C3, but he can move like a normal bishop. To C2.
All right.
Like the black on the black side, you will notice that there is a dragon bishop on D8.
Yeah.
So that is able to move both as the bishop and the Zhangyi horse.
Okay, so essentially the bishop for its movement stuff, so it has to move straight and then sideways. So essentially for its straight movement, there mustn't be anything in front of him.
Correct. Yes, for his initial straight movement.
Okay.
There must be. Correct.
All right. So you can't go sideways first and then straight. It has to be straight and then sideways. Doesn't matter in which direction.
Sideways, just say diagonally.
Or diagonally rather. Yes. Yes, diagonally.
Yes.
So you can't go diagonally and straight. You have to go straight and then choose a diagonal.
Yes, and the straight movement, Calvin, can be backwards or to the side, but it should be one square only. And that square should be like Craig was saying.
Okay.
And then diagonally.
So essentially, so essentially a dragon bishop can go straight as in forward straight, or backward
Yes.
straight, or right straight, or left straight. So either way, as long as it goes straight and then a diagonal movement. So
Yes.
straight and diagonal. Okay, cool. And
yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it, Calvin.
so now, and the only dragon bishop we didn't mention here is the G8 one. So the G8 one can't go forward, so it can't go like a Zhang horse. Aha.
You can go to H6. The square in red over there, I marked it just to show that it cannot do that, but it can move like a normal bishop, developing normally along the white square.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So that's movement.
Yes.
So can I just check here? Sorry, Craig. I just want to mention. Boom Shaka in the chat box says, "Whoa, this is so cool. So would you give up your dragon bishop for a rook?" There's a question.
That's a very good question. Okay, I will elaborate on that. Obviously, we've been testing the variant with many trial games, and one of the ideas that was proved to be very good was rook lifts, because the dragon is slightly more powerful than the rook.
Okay.
We rate the dragon bishop to be 6, 5.5. Sometimes it can be restricted, but yes, the rook is definitely inferior to
Okay.
the
And I suppose the dragon bishop, like the natural normal bishop, also increases strength the more open the position gets.
Yes, that is correct, Calvin. Similarly to normal chess, where bishops are superior in open positions to knights.
Okay.
So in paradigm Chess30, everything is just faster. All the principles apply as for chess. Developing is key. You must develop extremely fast. And like I said, now open positions favor the dragon bishop, and it becomes extremely strong.
Okay.
Like Craig was also mentioning, when he mentioned about the draws, one of the things that we found was that the dynamic aspect of the game. You know, why do we have rook and pawn endings? And you've seen in top level chess, rook and pawn endings, most of the time it ends in a draw.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes you're pawn up as well. It depends, of course, how strong the people are that's playing, but generally, I'm just talking generally speaking. And why do we get to that point? It is because we have equilibrium. Equilibrium, it means that with a knight and a bishop being perceivedly, we say it's 3 points, it's easy to exchange. And what do people do? Bishop takes knight. It's easy to exchange minor pieces. And also when bishops are facing each other, they will rather exchange it, neutralize each other, than to move away to give the strength to the other opponent. So what we're saying actually is that what we've done is by enhancing it, giving it extra power, a little bit more power, you will not want to exchange pieces. So exchanging pieces doesn't happen so quick.
Yes.
Like I was saying, bishop takes rook will not happen.
Yes.
Bishop takes knight will not happen. Some of you that remember the Alekhine knight on f5 attacking the king. You know, the king side, for instance, if you have a white knight on f5 and a king side, there, you know, Alekhine, that was his favorite knight to attack on g7. Right? Now, in this case, that knight will be super powerful.
Yes.
Because, especially with the outpost, because only a knight can neutralize a knight unless you have an exchange sacrifice. So bishop takes knight is out. Depending on the position, we had some games where we sacrifice a dragon bishop for a knight because it was too powerful.
Yes.
So that is a type of dynamics that we've changed by just adding that dragon bishop.
Yes.
The dynamics in chess just changed completely.
And
so,
Lourenzo, I guess there's a question in the chat box, but I think you're basically answering that question now. Let me just read a statement here and then I'll show you the question, but you can continue if you have more to say because this question is exactly on the head there of the nail. So Lizzie Lambert says, good evening, Mr. Lourenzo and Craig. And welcome, Lizzie. And Mr. Bombastic, he says, I stream a lot of variants and I am involved quite a bit with it. I do commend you for using a standard board and pieces that will definitely help with accessibility. Definitely so, Mr. Bombastic. Thanks for the comment. And Mr. Bombastic seems to be into his variants, so he's excited about this one. And then Lizzie Lambert was asking here, I would like to ask, how do you see chess strategies changing in Paradigm Chess30? So that's why I'm saying you're probably answering that question with the dynamics and the changes in that. So if there's anything you can add to that?
Yes, the exchange sacrifice. You know, Petrosian would have loved this game. You know, he was a master in exchange sacrifice. So you get it very often where you even the rook, where you sacrifice your rook for a knight, for instance. That is common as well, and even giving up your rook for a knight is the same basically, sacrificing it or giving it up, because then you know in effect you have two knights and your opponent only have one knight to remove that two knights.
Yes.
So one of the knights, if it has an outpost, will be extremely powerful unless you sacrifice back, which we also do a lot. So like I say, it's also like, it's like chess, the same like chess. You need to know when to sacrifice, exchange sacrifice, when the game changes, when it's more powerful, certain pieces are more powerful. Like I've said already, we've sacrificed the dragon bishop. In the beginning, you have the hype of the dragon bishop. You don't want to give it up. That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
But we played a game, me and Craig. His knights were strangling me, and I had to give my dragon bishop back. He sacrificed his dragon bishop earlier. So that is typical dynamics as well. So, and even, like I said, even if you exchange queens, like in normal chess, you exchange queens, you go to a middle game without queens or end game. If you exchange queens here, the game is still very much alive. We've played a lot of end games as well, very dynamic. So yes, it stays there.
Okay.
Like I said, all the principles in chess apply, but it's faster.
All right. Thanks, Lorenzo. So yeah, so we looked at the movement now. Where are we going to next?
Okay. Yes. Before we move on to the next diagram, I just want to add something in there.
To movement.
No. To what Lorenzo was saying.
Oh, all right.
You mentioned the dynamics has increased, and also just to touch on what Lizzie Lambert asked, how does it change the strategy? Does it improve it? So basically, what happens is the main thing that it causes a huge imbalance in the game, which gives each piece its own value. So that's what cuts the draws out completely. And also we used to like Lorenzo said, the exchange sacrifice. Rook captures knight or rook captures bishop. That's a common one in our games, in our normal chess games, and it's quite a nice one if you can pull it off. With Paradigm Chess30, there is, you sacrifice your queen for a dragon and a knight. You sacrifice your dragon for two knights. You sacrifice your rook for a, there's so many more dynamics because of the imbalances that is created, which does add more strategical and tactical nuances to the game. We all still have to learn. We're all beginners at this variant, but the amount of games that we've played, myself and my dad-in-law, and also we had friends, we played it amongst friends, we thoroughly enjoyed it, and there's so much to learn. Let me just take you to another diagram.
Just hang on, Craig. So just to paint it out very directly to the viewers, like what I'm thinking here is that what you guys have mentioned is essentially in the game of normal chess, there's two knights and two bishops that you have. So your opponent also has two knights and two bishops. So essentially there's you've got 4 pieces and he's got 4. There's 8 pieces with the same value that you can swap off. There's 8 different pieces. But in this Paradigm Chess30, because the bishops are stronger, there's only, everybody's individual, there's only 2 pieces you can swap off, basically. So there's a lot more exchange sacrifices. Exactly what these guys were saying there. So just to put it out very simple for everyone. And then another question here from Mills. Mills is asking, is there a chess site where one could play this?
Okay, Calvin, can I talk about that one?
Of course.
Okay, we have Charles de Villiers.
Right.
He actually completed the phase 1 for us. That is why we will be able to play a game with some limitations. It's not like a website, a lead chess version, but at least we could practice with this. And it's a virtual desktop. You can play it via any desk. It has a time control as well. So I'll make this available to each and everyone. You can just post it on your website, Calvin.
Okay, all
And
right.
if people want to play any desk with any desk or team viewer, at least they can play. They have something to play. They can get familiar with the movement of the piece. There is a problem with the demo B, so just ignore that one with the take back option. But the demo A is still very well intact. So
Yeah.
the demo A
Yeah,
still moves like
Tell me,
a dragon
Lorenzo,
bishop.
can I share it in the chat now?
Yes,
Is it
of
possible?
course. You can do
Okay,
that.
let me just find it quickly so that I can share it in the chat
Yes.
box here.
So just watch out for that demo B, guys. It's not perfect yet. It's moving like an archbishop, which is not correct. The demo A is a version that you have to look at without the take back option and the time control.
All right, I'm just getting it here for everybody. Let's copy
And you
this.
can also see the diagram highlighted the way we highlight the dragon bishop. That is the best design we could come up for now. Maybe later we can improve upon that. But we just had like an outline, like a flame outline,
Okay.
just to differentiate between the normal bishop and
All
the
right.
dragon bishop.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Lorenzo. I've just posted it in the chat here, guys. The link is there, so if you want to test it out, maybe we'll the guys are going to show you how it goes. But check it out. And thanks to Mills for the question. And Mills has just reminded me that it's Wayne Miller. So I hope you're doing good, Wayne. Nice to have you on the show. And yeah, thanks for the questions. And Craig, sorry to keep you holding there. Just one last comment here I see by your brother Kenny Willenberg here. Let's see. So Kenny says, Paradigm Chess30 has improved my understanding and application of exchange sacrifices in standard chess, which I found to be great. The Dragon Bishops have expanded my tactical foresight, I feel, and would like to play it more. Will there be, and he's asking you, will there be an open tournament for Paradigm Chess30 variant coming up soon? So that's from Kenny.
Yes. The restrictions, as you know, it is a bit difficult. But once that is lifted and we can have bigger tournaments, we only had a celebration, a very close celebration with 8 players only. That is what we could manage within the COVID protocol. But yes, we will have a tournament, and that is the beauty of the Paradigm Chess30, the simplicity. You know, you've seen also the pieces. I will share it later with you.
Yeah.
But you don't need that. You don't need that fancy pieces. You can have a chessboard. You can just have around the bishop. You can just have a ribbon, a red ribbon around it, and you can have a lot of boards like that. And you can have a big tournament.
Okay.
You know, unlike MRL chess paradigm, we could never really expand because of the complicated rules. You know, especially the no way out, no repetition rule. It was extremely difficult to manage.
Yeah.
So, but with Paradigm Chess30, yes, open tournaments can happen anytime.
Yes, okay.
Depending on the lifting of restrictions.
All right, so guys, essentially you can practice at home by yourselves with your normal chess boards in the meantime. All right, so we've looked at movement. So what's next, Craig?
Okay, yeah. So the uniqueness of the Dragon Bishop compared to the normal bishop and even the Archbishop of Capablanca is that the Dragon Bishop can actually do a pin. So the next diagram, I'm going to demonstrate a pin.
All right, let's go over to the next diagram. Here we go.
Okay, so in this situation, the Dragon Bishop, the white Dragon Bishop on G7 is actually pinning the knight on F7 over the king, which means the knight on F7 cannot move because the bishop would be putting the king in check.
It's opening up that straight movement that we were talking about.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So the knight can't move at all So it's essentially pinned. Okay, so odd way of pinning, but that's the dragon bishop.
Yes, that's the uniqueness. If that was a archbishop like Capablanca had, it could obviously leap over,
And it would
and it would
be check already. Aha,
yes, it would
okay.
because as we said, the archbishop was extremely powerful because it could leap like a knight as well. But the dragon bishop is restricted in that manner.
Okay, interesting stuff.
Yes.
Just to comment on this position, it is very interesting. This position during the celebration was actually almost a similar position. Forget about the other. But look at the dragon bishop on d3, where what to actually check Craig on e1 with the dragon bishop, and the queen was on b2. So that was basically a fork. Can you see? Picture the queen on b2.
Queen on
and
b2.
The dragon bishop, on b2, on bravo.
Okay,
and the dragon bishop on b3, check.
Okay, so you... okay, yes, so it's like a knight fork almost.
Yes, a knight fork, yes.
Yeah.
And then Craig just calmly responded with queen d2. And it was no longer check. And what we couldn't understand at the time, because it was quite new rules.
Yes.
People are trying to get familiar with it. And that was quite interesting. An interesting tactic you can also employ.
Okay, so there's ways to block as well. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's the pin stems from this position, but there's another nice unique one, the discovered attack that the dragon bishop can also do, which
okay, so let's go over to discovered attack, you say?
Yes.
All right, let's go to discovered attack. All right, we're looking at discovered attack.
Okay, so the discovered attack is a little more trickier to understand. I'm just gonna give the viewers a second to think about it. It is a pawn move over here to e5.
Right.
The pawn move up to e5, and then the dragon bishop would be attacking the queen on f3.
Okay.
Because moved, he vacated the e4 square, which was blocking the dragon from attacking the queen.
Okay.
So yeah.
So with the pawn on e4, the queen is not in trouble.
No, the dragon cannot take the queen.
So when you push pawn to e5, then you discover or open up an attack on the queen on f3, since you can move to your right and then diagonally. Okay, nice. Yeah. So you don't have to move your dragon bishop in order to attack like that. You can even... It seems like you're closing the diagonal a1 to h8, but you're actually opening up this Yangi knight movement.
Yes.
Okay, dangerous stuff. So that's discovered over there. So what do we have next? Just another question here from the chat box, guys. Let's just go back over here. Is that all that you wanted to say about discovered, Craig?
Well, yeah, that's the main tactics. Obviously,
yes.
We are beginners in this variant. We probably played maybe 200 games, but still we are learning new tactical and strategical nuances as we go on.
Yes.
So yes, it does take you back a bit to the era of when chess started and everything was beautiful. Sacrifices on f7 was rife, and now we basically reigniting that enthusiasm for the game.
Lovely. So yeah, we've got a question here in the chat box. From Cognitive Discord 101, he is asking, do you think the tactically inclined players have an advantage over strategically inclined players due to the dynamic nature of this variant?
To give my view, I'm sure Lourenzo has his own view on that. My view is Yes, I think tactically is usually the first things we learn as a chess players. We want to win by tactical tricks, forks, spins. So that is the first things that we've picked up.
Yeah.
There are lots of strategic and positional play also that we've not discovered. Here and there, we've discovered that you don't even have to castle because the king can be safe in the center. There's various other strategies that we've discovered by playing a lot. But yes, tactics is usually the first go-to when you learn chess, even Chinese chess and paradigm chess 30.
So, so
Okay.
like Craig was saying, the initial, yes, tactics is king. And then also, like you mentioned, the dragon bishop, the defensive power also. You will discover that later, and you will discover more strategy as it
Yes.
progresses.
Okay.
So as you go deeper into the game.
Of course, the imbalances plays a huge role. So studying your imbalances would play also
All right.
initiative.
So I'm getting the sense from you guys that does give a slight advantage to those guys. And what I can just maybe add is that with this variant, it does help. For instance, not necessarily with the moves itself because it's a new piece, but just the demeanor or your mindset playing can be adjusted. So if you maybe not as dynamically inclined in normal chess and you play a bit of uh, paradigm Chess30, then maybe after a few games in that and you come back to normal chess, just like the Chinese chess, you could be more inclined to go for dynamics just from that training on that side. So yeah, I would also say it helps with that. So yeah, guys. So we looked at movement of the piece. We now know how the dragon bishop actually moves. It moves like a bishop and a Zhangyi horse. We've looked at the pin. Some strange pins. Looks like the dragon bishop can maybe pin two pieces at the same time as well. And we looked at the discovered attack as well. I'm sure we're going to discover some more things the longer this game gets played, even maybe double tactics. Like in normal chess, you can play a tactic on top of another tactic and they flow into each other. So a lot to discover. And yeah, thanks for the intro, guys. Anything else you would like to mention about the game before we start going to the actual chessboard?
There is a very important aspect that we didn't talk about.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to say. Yeah, I think
Yes,
it's good that you
that
mentioned it. Yeah.
you probably wonder the paradigm Chess30, the 30 positions. That is from the idea of Fisher random
Yeah.
and from the original idea of MRL chess paradigm, where the king is at his normal position and the rooks are at his normal position. The only difference now is that we don't need the knight on B1. We don't need equal shuffling. What it means is that you can have two light square bishops in the initial position. You can have two dark square bishops when you start,
Okay.
because with only one movement, Sangyo's movement, you switch lanes. You switch
Yes.
from dark square to light square. So
Uh-huh.
that is the beauty of it. And it's also unique with regards to Fisher random. If you had it in Fisher random, a king between two rooks at the standard position, you will only be able to generate 18 positions.
Okay.
With the fact that you can have now two light square bishops or two dark square bishops with a start, you generate an additional 12 positions. And that is
Ah.
where the 30 positions come from, which makes it extremely difficult to prepare against any opponent.
Yes.
Yes, you can follow principles like with chess 960, but you will not be able to prepare. So that is also helping with the creativity and games being played out and memorized.
Okay.
So that is part of the uniqueness of the paradigm Chess30, apart from the dragon bishop.
Yes.
So the two combined made the paradigm Chess30.
Okay, and then I actually just remembered something else as well, very, very, very important, I feel. But yeah, just adding to that what Lorenzo said. So essentially, the theory, the guys that depend on the opening theory too much, this is going to be a tough one for you. It's going to take you much, much more time. I think it's going to take you forever to create a lot of theory. So it's nice and fresh. And then, of course, the other thing, especially with this lockdown, that we have. A lot of online chess is being played, and a lot of machines do get used. So, question to you guys: can you, or at this moment, can you use machines to assist you with this game? Because we've been played in normal chess and tournaments with people using computer systems. What can you guys tell us about this?
At this stage, you cannot use a normal engine to determine the best moves. Obviously, the normal engine will not give you the best dragon movement. So no engines at the stage which avoids any online funny business. So when you play, it's just you recreating like back when chess started out. It is fresh, as you said.
Old school, like we say.
Yeah.
The theme of the celebration was old school, going back to those years where you could still analyze a game, feel excited about it without the engine spoiling your analysis.
Yeah.
Just relying on yourself and the beauty of the game.
I think that's brilliant.
And yes, there is a way to make use of engines if you swap the
Bishops.
dragon bishops out
Yes.
early in the game.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So I think that's like I mentioned in my post earlier today as well. I think that's quite. I don't want to call it a relief, but I think it's quite nice to hear from a lot of us out there. So yeah, that's exciting. You have to depend on yourself. No engines, nothing, since the game is so fresh. So. Okay, so guys, please feel free to throw more questions in the chat box from the viewers out there. But I think if you guys are ready now, if you don't have...
Calvin?
Yes?
Calvin, I forgot a very important point, actually.
Yeah?
For maybe you... I don't know if you have a picture of the dragon bishop there with you.
True, I do not have one here. Let's check. I think I might not have it here. Let me just see. Let's check. I might have. I showed it the other day. I think I have it here. I'm gonna try my luck here if it's the right one. Let's just check quickly. Yeah, I think I got it here. Let's show the viewers.
You have the two bishops, Calvin. We can't see that.
Yeah, just hang on. I've got both here. Where is it now? Pieces. So I'm gonna show the viewers out there what they look like. So there we go. On the left, we've got the white dragon bishops, and on the right, we've got the black dragon bishops. Can you tell us about this, the look of the bishops? I see they look differently.
Yes, that is a uniqueness of it as well, something different as well. Just for those who don't know, my wife, Chantal, she designed the dragon bishop. The conceptual design, she did that for us. We told her what we would like. We talk about dragon skin, we talk about flames. And if you can still recall the MRL Chess Paradigm trophy, it is basically the same design, the flame design that you see on the one dragon bishop.
Yeah.
The other one, the slimmer one, is the one with the dragon skin.
Okay.
So the design as well. So that is what we have for the two dragon bishops. So the reason why we have both, we chose both, because me and Craig at the time, we couldn't make a decision because we love both pieces.
Yes.
So we decided, why don't we take both? Because if you look at Chinese chess,
yeah,
the characters are different. We call it red and black. The pawns look different of your opponent's pawns. There's a lot of pieces that looks different from each other.
Yes.
So we said, why can't we do this?
Why not? Yeah.
So we decided to do it. We had a successful celebration, and the guys didn't even note it. It's just become part of you. You just play it, and it's just how the brain works.
Yes.
It's something new, but it's a paradigm shift, and you just adjust and adapt.
Okay. Cool. So that's quite a nice design. Those are the original dragon bishops. But of course, Lourenzo, you can play them with your normal bishops, like he said earlier on. There we see them on the screen. There we go, guys. That's the fuzzy. That's the thick one.
Yes, and then there's Maybe a lady dragon, I don't know.
Yes, and there's the thin one with the dragon skin. Okay, lovely. So there you have it, guys. But of course, you can also use the normal bishops and just like Lourenzo said,
Yes.
maybe put a red ribbon
Yes.
around, something like that. But very nice indeed. Cool bishops, dragon bishops. Okay, so is that guys? Can we go over to the chessboard?
Yes, I think
Sure.
that will be fine.
I think we covered everything.
Unless maybe the manual shuffling, tell the guys how to manual shuffle. Or not needed.
Yeah, so
You can tell.
Manual shuffling. All right, go ahead.
So, you know, a lot of guys will not have access to online,
Yeah.
you know. So if you want to maybe just play with a friend now after the show, you can do manual shuffling. You put the king at its original position and the rooks. And then you will see you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vacant squares. We always count from the long side. We don't say the queen side because there's no queen side
Yeah.
in paradigm chess. That is on the
Yes.
long side castling. So you count the vacant squares from that side. And when you use a dice maybe, or you can have a spreadsheet generator, randomizer, and then you throw maybe a 6, and then you count. B1 is 1, C1 is 2, D1 is 3, F1 is 4, and 5 is G1, and then 6 again, and it comes back to the beginning on B1.
So you count every time from the long side.
Yeah, so if you throw the next time, you throw a 3, then you count the 4 vacant squares, you count again from the long side, and then until you have 3, and then you place the second dragon bishop there. And then the third throw will be the queen, and then you count again from the long side, and then you place that, and then the knights will just follow.
Okay.
And then you have a generated position.
All right,
manually.
so that's how to. Yeah, that's for the placement of the pieces. All right, thanks, Lourenzo. So I think the people are itching to get to the chessboard. So we're going to switch over to the chessboard. Cognitive Discord did mention here, he's wondering how AI, AlphaZero of them, will handle this variant. Okay, so I'm just getting you guys on here so that we can see you. Are you guys on?
We are connected. Yes.
Okay, let's go to the chessboard over here. Okay, so we're at the chessboard, everyone. We've generated a position. If you go onto the site, we did share the link. I'll share it maybe at the end of the show again. I'll share the link. And this site, every time you start or you just refresh or something, then it generates a new position. And right now, let me just confirm if you guys see the same position. So I've got the dragon bishops are on C1 and G1.
Yes,
that's correct.
And the queen is on F1.
Yes.
All right, so guys, this is what you've been waiting for. We are actually going to see this dragon bishop in action, the official start here for tonight of Paradigm Chess30. So we are going to see... Yes.
We're just going to toss
for colors. No, I'm doing this saying that we're not going to toss for colors because...
Oh, okay.
Just from a celebration, you know, I didn't play the celebration, so he has an advantage.
Okay. all right. And then, like I was saying, we're going to see now the first game, and we're going to see a Blitz game. As you can see, there's a clock there and everything, so we're going to see these guys go at it right now. So...
It's okay. Okay.
Feel free to throw in a comment, questions, guys. Here we go. You guys can start. So I'm gonna let's see. I think I wonder if I should not. I'm gonna mute myself from your side, guys. So I'm gonna mute myself on Zoom so that you guys don't hear me.
Okay, cool.
So
will you hear us still, Calvin?
Yes, I'll hear you guys, but you won't hear me. So I'm gonna mute now, and then I'm just gonna talk, and let me know if you can still hear me. Here we go. Okay, guys. So
here we go, Calvin.
We cannot hear you.
Okay, so it's fine. We're just gonna go.
You guys can go. You guys can go. I'm gonna mute myself now. Here we go.
Cool.
All right. So thank you to Clint as well for following. Welcome to the show. And we have liftoff, guys. We see who's got the white pieces? Lourenzo's got the white pieces, and Craig has got the black pieces. Let's just confirm this. Guys, I just want to confirm, Lorenzo, you've got the white pieces, right? And Craig, you black.
Yes.
Okay, I'm muting again. Here we go. Okay, so we see first move f4, and then we saw d5, and now knight b to c3. And then pawn to f6, pawn to e4. So white is playing some, it looks like Grand Prix setup. And as you can see, the dragon bishop on g1 can move like a bishop, but not like a Zhang Yi knight yet. Pawn takes e4. So just to remind you guys, we can still hear you over there. So we can hear the dragons flying in the air in the background.
I wanted to help him, Calvin.
All right, so I'm muting myself again. If for some reason you guys want me to get back on or whatever, you can just give a wave or say something. Okay, I'm muting again. Okay, so knight takes e4. So the g8 dragon bishop is open. He cannot move like a knight. Let's just call it a knight for now, but we all know it's a Zhang Yi knight. Okay, maybe I should say Zhang Yi knight because a normal knight could have gone to h6 already. But yeah, the dragon bishops cannot move yet from both sides like a Zhang Yi knight because all the pawns are in front of it. Knight c6 was played. And maybe, you know what, guys, maybe, let's see. Maybe I should also give these guys space to think. So let me just tell them. So yeah, sorry guys to interrupt over here. I know time is ticking, but I think I'm going to mute you guys as well, just to give you thinking space. And the viewers will hear me alone. So I'm muting all of us, but the viewers will be hearing me. Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, I see here, guys, I have to ask to unmute. So you guys are muted now. Can you just unmute? Rather, let's just leave it unmuted from your side. There we go. Okay, so I'm rather going to keep you guys on because I see I have to ask to unmute. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening here? Dragon bishop.
I would love to block with my dragons, but the pieces
They can't hear you, no?
No, they can. So I have to move my queen now. Yeah, don't want that.
Okay, so I found a way now, guys. Okay, it's just showing a sign there that I muted myself on Zoom. But okay, so I've muted them so they can play in peace. And let's see. So there we saw dragon bishop to e7. So that dragon bishop from black could go over there, but the other one couldn't because he couldn't go straight rightwards. So the two dragon bishops are eyeing each other. Lourenzo is a bit ahead on the clock. Let's see what's in the chat box. So Kenny is saying that's interesting. So then the engine would perfect it, and theory can develop certain principles around the DB, providing theory for it. Yeah, of course. So yeah, we're not at that stage yet, but that would be interesting, yes. So dragon bishop to e6 is played, and now both dragon bishops are aiming at the dragon bishop on c5. That's why Lourenzo retreats, and a cool Zhang Yi horse retreat to b3 there, dragon bishop b3. So the dragon bishops are really very, very tricky, guys. Game is sharp. White is castle. Black is also ready to castle. Only piece in black's position that looks slightly odd is the knight on d8. But okay, the knight on d1 also looks odd. Thanks, Boom Shaka. We've got an interesting background there. Thinking of the origins as well, Chinese chess playing a part in it. So some dragon bishop exchange on b3. Pawn takes f4. Are we going to see dragon bishop takes f4? So that dragon bishop on f4 is aiming at e6 as well, and that's why knight e6, and the knight is threatening to capture that guy. Obviously, Lourenzo is not going to swap off the dragon bishop for the knight, being worth much more. The bishop dropped back. So there was a funny maneuver. The dragon h5, I just missed a dragon h5, and then g6, and then the bishop drops back. Okay, cool. Ah, there is a fork. The knight forks the queen and the dragon bishop. That's unfortunate. And there Lourenzo is left with no dragon bishop. So now we're going to see. Black has got a knight and a dragon bishop. White has got two knights. Let's see what's going to happen. So black theoretically has an advantage now. So I have played Chinese chess, Boom Shaka. The cannons are quite powerful in a sense, but they do have their limitations because they can jump over certain stuff and they can go far, but they can't shoot at the stuff right in front of them. So I'm not sure what the value is of the cannon, but I think they should be pretty high up the ladder. So I think the dragon bishop could be something similar, yes. Because the dragon bishop is even close to a queen, I would consider. Maybe close. Like I think someone mentioned earlier, maybe a dragon bishop could be like or queen could be worth a dragon bishop and a minor piece, something like that. Interesting exchange sacrifices. So, knight is on d4 for black. Playing f5, you think the knight, that had a nice post on e4. Okay, knight g5, threatening the queen. Black is behind on the clock. So Lourenzo has got that as an advantage. He's got 3 minutes on the clock against Craig's 57 seconds. Knight c to e4, using the pin. The pawn can't capture because the rook is on the same file as the queen. Queen needs to find a safe spot. Queen to e5. So the dragon bishops are also valuable. So if you bring them out quickly, they can get exposed. And I guess that's what happened to that dragon bishop, one dragon bishop of Lourenzo. He got forked by the enemy knight. Pawn to f4. Black is down. Few seconds. And the sacrifices now is dragon bishop for look like two knights. So he had a dragon bishop for a knight, but now he sacked the dragon bishop basically for two knights, which means black. Now we switch over to normal chess. And now we're back to normal chess, and black is a whole piece up. So white is in trouble. Queen takes b7. Black hesitating a bit. He's a piece up. Maybe if you move the rook, then rook takes a7 would be dangerous. f3 looks nice. White is in big trouble. fe8. c3 to check. King f1. Black down on the clock, needs to make a move. Queen h5. Time is ticking. Time is ticking. Time is ticking. Make a move. Oof. I don't know if there's increment or if there's a delay, a Bronstein delay, but Black is in trouble. He needs to move instantly. And Lourenzo is going to obviously try to... there must be some increment, yes. Oh my word. And Black loses on time. Wow, guys. Why? Why did you lose on time? You're completely winning.
Up there.
Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, we were... I mean, completely winning, but what are you guys playing with increment or what?
How is this knight gonna come out, Calvin?
So let's say, okay. So what is in check, right? So
Queen G2.
Queen G2.
I think I have a problem here.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's not
Queen.
easy.
Maybe Queen G4 or something. Or Queen is. But yeah, Queen G4 looks like.
Rook takes e2.
Oh no, sorry, I'm missing. The king's also on f1. Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, no. You.
So just even though I was the piece up, there were lots of dynamics still to sort out, because I mean he was threatening rook takes a7 if I bring in my a8 rook, and that was looking pretty ugly.
Yes. Yeah, but I think okay. Objectively, you were winning, but the complications over there. But it was interesting that you forked Lorenzo's queen and Dragon Bishop early on.
Yeah, I missed that one, man.
Yes. So I was mentioning to the viewers that you should also be careful with your Dragon Bishops. If you expose them early, if you bring them out early on in the game, they might be exposed and prone to tactics or some exchanges. And then you luckily could just swap off your Dragon Bishop for 2 knights and convert into a winning normal chess position.
Yes, that was the aim. You usually blow a huge sigh of relief when you're in a normal chess.
You could see also, Calvin, he sacrificed his Dragon Bishop for 2 knights.
Yes. So there's...
Although in that case, he was now up he was a piece up, so it was logical. But that is typical sacrifices as well.
Yeah,
yes.
also in normal chess, you would exchange into a simpler ending than a more complicated ending, but just make sure it's winning, of course.
Yeah.
That was the principle.
Okay, cool. So, are you guys keen to play another one? But before we start again, I just want to read something. We got a couple of comments here. So Boom Shaka was actually asking Kenny, because he played in the celebration event. What was it like playing? Did you get confused with the movement? So you got a question here to Kenny that was also playing in the celebration event. So Kenny said, Boom Shaka, I missed one tactical play completely when the adjacent square was blocked against Daniel Barish while my Dragon Bishop was defender of my queen. Lost it and resigned immediately. In my game against Watto, I discovered a great tactical flair the Dragon Bishop produced. Starting square was B1 and moved as knight to A3, then back to B2 to become fianchetto bishop, which I think contributed to me winning that one. The ability for the Dragon Bishop to transform itself allows for deeper calculations and even simplify certain dynamic plans I could find using its piece value. Any tactical or strategical inclined player will simply love this variant. Thanks, Kenny, and for sharing your experiences there. And Laparot, welcome, Laparot. Laparot says, so develop rooks before dragon bishops? Question mark. What do you guys think? Rooks before dragon bishops?
Yes, like Craig was mentioning earlier about the rook lift, the h4, rook h3, very possible because bishop can't take the rook.
Aha, okay, so interesting stuff
No,
over
and
there.
even and when a rook attacks the dragon bishop, he has to run.
Yes, and Kenny also says here, rooks tend to wait long for endgame. I think it's harder to find the right files for them. Interesting aside from Kenny over there. So, yeah. All right, guys. So, are you keen to play another one? Any other comments, questions from the viewers? And maybe try to keep your dragon bishops on longer, guys, man. Don't get them out so quickly.
Okay.
At least keep one behind.
Okay, this looks like the standard chess position. In fact, this was the first.
Okay, cool. This is nice.
You'll be very surprised how different it is, but maybe we should change or should we keep it?
I say let's keep it.
I would love for you guys to keep it this way and just see how different it is to normal theory. I think the normal theory is out the window. But Alt Boff says here, what online offline chess engine for this? I think we answered that one earlier. Alt, there's no engines you can use at the moment for this unless you wire it in yourself if you're a developer or something. But I think that's gonna take you forever. So no engines right now. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it. We use our brains. So this is fresh stuff. So yeah, here we go, guys. We've got the normal chess position. Let's go.
I'll go. Right.
Okay, so this time around I'm not gonna mute. Let's see. No. I need to mute myself for you guys. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing again. So just bear with me. Okay, so I've muted them. And here we go. So d4, f5 looks like a Dutch. Pawn to c3. And of course, that c3 movement opens up the dragon bishop to move like a Zhangyi knight. So let's see if this is going to pan out like a usual Dutch defense. Yes, it seems difficult, but you get used to it quite quickly. And I think it's quite nice because you don't want engines to interfere. If you listen to top grandmasters as well, they always encourage you to analyze by yourself. The engines make us lazy. The engines take away certain learning curves. And we have h4 on the board. So the dragon bishop on c1 moved like a Zhangyi knight to d3. And h4, so white is looking at maybe opening up with h5. And I think Craig is playing with the white pieces now. So, and black plays g5, trying to keep things closed. Not interested in grabbing that pawn. Maybe rook takes h5 was a possibility. So, yeah, Craig's taking his time here, trying to figure out what to do next. Queen to c2, eyeing the f5 pawn. So the standard battery by the queen and dragon bishop, or yeah. So f5 is hanging out to protect. Now black could play dragon bishop to g7 and then he's protecting f5, but then probably pawn to h6 is irritating. So question is how to protect f5, maybe pawn to e6. Yep, pawn to e6 is played. Guys, if you want to know more, I mean, these are the creators of the game. Throw in your questions. At the end of the show, we're going to ask them the final questions from you guys. Very interesting stuff, guys. I was part of the celebration event. It was quite fun playing, so you need to try it out. I'm going to share the link again at the end so that you can test it out yourself and you can play it at home. As I mentioned earlier, you don't need any different board, or you use the same chess board. You can use the normal bishops and just imagine that they're dragon bishops. Or like Lourenzo said, you can put a red ribbon around it. Like you can see here on this chessboard, dragon bishops are red. Just to show you that they are different from the normal guys. Feel free to press the follow button if you just tuned in, or if you haven't yet. Pawn to e5. So now notice that bishop takes f5 is dragon bishop takes f5 is not on yet, because then the dragon bishop on g7 is actually defending f5. Note that. So pawn to e4. Pawn to f4, and any King's Indian player will be happy with such a looking position. Maybe pawn to g4 in the air, pushing the knight. But the knight can jump to h4 though. Yes, Laporot, it can be very tricky to trap a dragon bishop. I've tried to trap one couple of times, and you think you have it, and then it has an escape route. So a lot of times these backward movements are the ones that we miss. Exchanging it, it's it's a bit difficult. Exchanges in general, are tricky because every piece has a different value. So if you get the chance to exchange the dragon bishop, usually we tend to gobble the dragon bishop up. So the structure has been closed, the knight, oof. And this is now something that we see here, guys. That knight on f5 is so powerful because the dragon bishops don't want to capture him. But who's going to get rid of him? Only the other two knights. So the dragon bishop retreats. He doesn't want to. The knight to get in. White long castle. So I think white is looking very nice here. If I'm correct, I'll just double check with the guys after the game. I think Lourenzo's got the black pieces, yes, and Craig has got the white pieces this time around. The knight a6, the knight might be looking at c5. The dragon bishops tend to be not that powerful, or as powerful as they can be in closed positions. Dragon bishop b5 check. Right, dragon d7. Knight to b3, so maybe try to keep the black knight away from c5. So Lourenzo is down to 2.5 minutes. Craig is on 3 minutes basically. So it seems like Lourenzo is struggling to find a way forward here. Knight to c5, so he accepts maybe some double pawns coming his way. It was difficult. The knight on f5 is really making black's life difficult. That's the thing that we were talking about. Knights can actually be very powerful. At some point, black might have to decide to give up a rook or something, or even a dragon bishop if you have to. But each piece has its potential to become very strong. Pawn to d6, trying to open up lines, and black goes pawn to c6 immediately. So dragon bishop can go to c7 potentially, and it won't be a check yet because it will be blocked by the d7 dragon bishop. So it won't be checked. It can go to c7, but it will actually not be attacking much besides the queen. So he rather retreats. Now, if it was an archbishop, it would have been forking the king and the rook and so on, but that's the limitation essentially of the dragon bishop. It's not as powerful as an archbishop, which would be very, very powerful. Dragon bishop, the guys are estimating between 7, maybe 7 or 8 points. 7.5, I don't know. Like I said, the blocked positions, like that dragon bishop on d7 can't go forward. Okay, there's pawns everywhere. But he can actually go to b6 because the c7 square is vacant. So black is down on the clock. He needs to find something to do. Queen to a5. Protecting c5 because the dragon on d3 was actually attacking c5. Queen a5, eyeing the a2 pawn as well and protecting c5. Alright then, that's an interesting move now. So dragon bishop on c4 is protecting a2 and attacking the queen on a5 at the same time, guys. The bishop on c4 is doing a lot of work. He is not protecting the pawn on d6 because the c5 pawn is in the way. Black can play queen b6 because, like I said, mentioned the c5 pawn is in the way, and there. Yeah, so the dragon bishop was actually forking the queen and the e5 pawn. And notice the dragon on d7 couldn't capture that dragon bishop on e5 because the pawn on d6 was blocking him. Knight g7, that's a fork. The king and the dragon bishop is being attacked. The dragon on e6 cannot capture the knight on g7. The f6 knight is in the way. So that's a nasty fork. 7. When the knight takes e6. e6, it's not checked because the e6 square is blocked. So you can even play a move like dragon bishop to c4, then the bishop won't be able to capture because as soon as the bishop on e6 moves, it will be checked. So time is getting closer to even. Pawn to d7, of course, the dragon bishop cannot capture. The knight is welcome to capture, but then you can, of course, play it. Now, if knight takes d7, the dragon bishop on e5 cannot capture because the e6 bishop is there, but rook takes would be check, and the dragon bishop couldn't take because then it will be check again. So these dynamics can change so quickly, guys. Rook to d6, and that dragon bishop looks very juicy to capture. Dragon bishop to c4 from f1 to c4 also looks very nice. We're going to see rook takes, yes. So we've got 2 dragon bishops on the board. King takes dragon f to c4, check. And I think the king can only run to e7. These guys are making the board on fire, guys. The dragon bishops are so powerful. So he's giving up his dragon bishop for the knight. Why? Okay, he's leading already. e5 check. The king cannot capture. The dragon bishop is protecting it. Ah, the queen is opening up for his queen. That's the main idea. That's the main idea. That's a nice sacking the dragon bishop for the knight. The queen is coming in. So king d8, the king has to run. How about dragon e6? Dragon e6 looks interesting. But then you could play rook e7 to block. Let's check. Rook d6 can block, but then it's just falling. Oof, so it's not check anymore, because you can't go straight left. Check over there. Getting close to the end, guys. Pawn takes rooks. Maybe very simple. Pawn takes rook is probably most simple. And it looks like the king is stuck there on b8. The a8 rook is. Okay. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Wait, let's just get them on. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
now
we can hear you.
Aha, okay, right. Nice game over there. Craig, you had the white pieces, eh?
Correct.
Okay, nice game over there. Nice dragon bishop sack there for the final assault. Giving up your dragon bishop for the knight just to get your queen in there. So
clarify matters, you know.
yes, and it seems like this closed position didn't make the dragon bishops so happy for a long time. You had to maneuver. And
More strategy.
Yes, and we also saw the knight on f5 was so powerful. That outpost.
Yes, exactly. That is very good. For that
Okay.
outpost.
Interesting stuff, guys. Definitely seems like positions are sharp. How long was this game? 34 moves. And it doesn't seem like a draw was ever on the cards in both games. Sharp stuff. All right. Anything else, guys? Or what? Any hints or any suggestions for the viewers out there? Let me just go find that link. Let me just repost it here for everybody to make use of it, so that they can practice at home. And maybe Lourenzo and Craig, you guys can maybe tell us what's in store. What can we expect next from Paradigm Chess30?
Yeah, that is, we're planning a weekly Paradigm Chess30, like a banter, like we're doing now. So more games. Maybe the viewers can also play with Calvin, with Craig, myself, and also asking one of the top players maybe to come on the show as well to share some of their games or their views, and also maybe do a banter. So
Yes.
I just need to ask for permission. So that is in the short term. Like I've mentioned already, Charles is still busy with the website. So that is a phase 2. It takes long because it's from scratch. It's new.
Yes.
And like I said, we don't really want engines involved now. We still want to enjoy the old school, like in the days. So we don't want to spoil it now. We still enjoy it. We still have fun.
Yes. So yeah, we will be definitely gonna get some banter Paradigm Chess going. Hopefully we'll start next week, guys, and we'll make it a weekly thing. And thanks for entertaining us. Boom Shaka says this is really interesting, gents. Will we be seeing more? So maybe is there any? So we had a celebration event. Is there going to be any tournament that we should be looking out for in the near future, or is it pipeline or anything like that? Can we expect anything?
Hopefully the online, but the online is dependent on programming.
Yes.
So we're hoping for that still, and then when everything clears, and we can have tournaments again like in the olden days. So
we can do over the board ones as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, definitely different from MRL chess paradigm. Much easier to manage, and we can have big tournaments. And we can manage it with the normal chess rules. We don't need the dynamic no draw rules with this addition.
Okay, great stuff. So guys, I left the link for you in the chat box, so just grab it over there, and you go ahead and practice it. Just make sure not to use the last link. There should be 3 options. If there's 2, take the second one, but the third one is still in construction, I think. Use the second link. Don't worry with the take back one. Just use the second link. So enjoy, guys. Yeah, and that's it in the chat box as well. So if there any final comments, guys, before we go?
Calvin, thanks a lot from my side and from Craig. We really appreciate hosting us. This was really great going forward.
All right, no, it has been a pleasure. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more of this, and yeah, I'm gonna go practice on this website as well. So guys, look out for the banter blitz. Thanks, Lourenzo. Thanks, Craig, for making it a very exciting evening and giving us something new and fresh to look at, and maybe another training tool to improve in general in chess as well. And just, I mean, it's exciting times. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the evening. And what is today? Wednesday. So I will probably see you guys Friday for openings night, and we've got a special show on Saturday as well. We've got some Olympiad player from Jamaica we're going to have for Saturday's challenge day. So sharpen your blades, guys. It's something interesting happening for challenge day on Saturday. I'll tell you guys more about that pretty soon. So thanks everybody for watching. Grey Old Wizard says thank you, gents, all the best. Yeah, thanks everybody. Press the follow button if you haven't yet, and enjoy your evening. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you, Calvin.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Cheers.